Hi everyone, Christina Tarantola with the Diet Doc Pittsburgh North, and today I want to share with you a special presentation that I'll actually be giving next week at a cancer foundation. But while I'm practicing, I figured why not give the information to you and record it at the same time so that I can practice and also be able to be of service to anyone who is looking to heal their body. And that's what my talk will be on today is how to holistically heal the body through spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical means. So, who am I? So, I am by trade a pharmacist. I was licensed in New York. Now I live in Pennsylvania, and I actually work full time as a health coach and nutrition consultant. So, my passion is really helping people heal their body instead of having to rely solely on medications. And nutrition really can be applied to 90 to 95% of any chronic condition: diabetes, cancer, Crohn's disease, rheumatoid arthritis. Nutrition is food is medicine. Nutrition is really important. And so I do talks around the Pittsburgh area. I write newsletters. My fiance and I have this business together, the Diet Doc. We doctor the diet problem. But we also help people heal through nutrition, through stress management principles and mindset, making sure that it's not just a one size fits all. It's really a customized approach to allow people to heal their body, mind, and spirit. So, as I was going along in pharmacy school, I realized that there was a deep need for people to learn about nutrition. And unfortunately, in pharmacy school, we only get one class on nutrition. But I knew when I took that class in my 6th year of pharmacy school that it was going to be a big part of my practice in the way that I perceive health. So, as I was going along in my residency, I did an extra year at a community pharmacy, and I was teaching diabetes classes. And what I realized was so many of my diabetic patients wanted to come off their medication. They wanted to feel better. They wanted to be able to eat nutritious foods and be able to lower their A1C or their blood sugar numbers. So I decided to go off and really learn more about nutrition through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, which is an online-based program that allows you to learn how to coach people through motivational interviewing techniques, how to gauge whether or not a person's ready to make a change, all of those behavioral aspects, as well as the whole nutrition part. So we learned about the anti-inflammatory diet, the alkaline acid balance in the body. We learned about yin and yang, literally hundreds of different dietary theories that we can then help other people and coach them to better their health and really optimize their eating and activity plan. So this became my passion because this is a relatively new niche in pharmacy. And what I'd like to see pharmacists doing is educating patients and clients on how to implement these strategies, lifestyle changes into their life so that they don't have to be on medication. They don't have to go to the doctor's office and not know what their medications are. They can be empowered to reclaim their health and really take charge of that aspect of their life so they feel empowered and want to get better. So what I would like to talk about today is that concept, actually, disempowered versus empowered. And something that I started to understand as I was going through integrative nutrition and healing myself. I had a lot of problems with my own health at that time. I was suffering from a rare eating disorder called night eating syndrome, where I would not eat all day and then I would pretty much eat all of my calories at night, and it wasn't anything healthy. It was peanut butter and pizza and donuts, really anything heavy and fatty because I hadn't eaten all day. So I had this disorder for about 7 years. It caused me daily anxiety, shame. I really did not like who I was, and I was guilty all the time because I was doing this cycle of being stressed out, worrying, numbing my emotions out. And so having those two things in my life, seeing my patients wanting to learn about nutrition and then suffering through my own healing journey and going through that whole process really made me extremely passionate about helping people understand how they can take control of their health and improve every aspect of their life. Because if you think about it, your health and what you eat, your energy, allows you to be able to do the things that you love. It allows you to go out and, live out your life purpose or take care of your kids. If you don't have any energy, you can't really fully live. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to be alive. So, like I said, as I started to go along in my journey, I realized that there were certain belief systems that people had. And I actually came across this really fascinating book called Power versus Force by Dr. David Hawkins. And he studied thousands and thousands of people over a span of 20 years. And he used something called applied kinesiology, and it's called muscle testing, where you can actually test the body to see whether or not a substance, an affirmation, or your surroundings can either weaken the body or strengthen it. And he studied all different types of chemicals. Sugar, for example, made the body go weak. Something like a green smoothie obviously would make the body go strong. And so he studied all of these people, and he mapped out this consciousness scale. And this is so important. This is one of the most important things that I talk about. So it goes from 0 to 1,000, and each level increases in power. So if you look at shame is one of the lowest energy vibrations, and it really pulls a person down to where they feel very disempowered. And so what I'm going to show you is really what it boils down to is that Hawkins found that anyone below this level of courage, so it's shame, guilt, grief, anger, there's a couple more in between. This level of courage, anyone who calibrated at a lower level of courage was disempowered. And they were actually taking life from people around them. So they were blaming other people. They did self-destructive behaviors, smoking, addictions. That's where all of this kind of lies. Because the predominant level of consciousness is a mix of these things, or maybe one of these things. Usually, he calibrated out, like each person would have a specific number, but in my mind, it's kind of like a conglomeration of all of these different things. They can all be present in a human being. So anything below courage was a disempowered individual. Maybe they were smoking or drinking or doing these self-destructive behaviors that prevented them from getting healthy. This is where it gets interesting. So anyone above 200 or courage was empowered. And this really became the focus of a lot of my research, was understanding what power has to do with health. And empowered has in it the word power, obviously, but an empowered individual gives life to other people. They are the type of people that are healthy. When shifting from disempowered to empowered, they feel like they have control of their life. People down here, they're powerless. People here are powerful. So, of course, it's not that black and white, and everybody can kind of shift in levels of consciousness. But what I like to highlight is that there is a distinct shift in consciousness. And even in my own healing journey, I realized that for a long time, I was in this disempowered state because I was blaming my parents for a lot of things. I wasn't taking ownership of my life. And I was in these lower levels of being angry at my family, in grief of everything that I had lost, shame and guilt from my eating disorder and everything that I had experienced. So I started to read more about this, and I'm really curious about helping people heal. So, of course, I'm wanting to shift people from disempowered to empowered. And that's what I've seen with every single one of my clients. They always come back and say, oh, it's not necessarily the weight, it's my mindset. It's really a shift in my consciousness. And they might not realize this is what's happening. They're moving up the scale and reclaiming their power. And I actually wrote a book about this that can really help to give you some more tips and tools on how to reclaim your power. A lot of us are conditioned by society to give our power away to our bosses or to the government, and we don't realize that the power lies within us. So this is a big concept that I really wanted to go over. Another thing that will dictate disempowered versus empowered is the language that you use. Whenever someone comes to me and they are ready for coaching, I'll usually hear some type of language that says, oh, I can't do this. Or, oh, I've been X my whole life. I've been heavy my whole life. Well, if you keep saying that over and over again, it's like a recorder in your head. It's those old tapes playing in your head. So that's actually one of the things that I use with my clients. A tool that I use is positive affirmations, because we need to delete that old tape and put something else in its place. So language is very powerful. And if you think about it, I say to you, don't think of a pink elephant. What do? You automatically think of one. So what you focus on is what you feel. Even if your brain says, I don't want to do this, the fact that you say it, like say, I don't want to binge eat, your brain just hears binge eat and it keeps the cycle going. So in order to break these patterns, it's going to require some deeper work. It's not just going to be a topical quick fix, or let me take a pill, or let me do a shake, or the quick fixes that most of society really wants. This is a little bit deeper, getting into the subconscious beliefs and positive affirmations that can help to change that tape. Not only that, the language is important, behavior is important. A lot of people will procrastinate, and these are self-sabotaging behaviors. They'll say, oh, I'll start on Monday. Oh, I'll start on New Year's Day. And they just keep pushing it off. It's a self-sabotaging behavior. And that actually comes from limiting beliefs that may have stemmed from childhood, or it may be something that happened, and became in your tape a little bit while later as you grew up and into an adult. And we experience things and make meaning out of things very quickly. So let me give you a quick example. So say that you have been dating somebody and you think that you're in love with them, and then all of a sudden they betray you, or they cheat on you. And I know that this has happened to a lot of us who think that we can trust someone, and then they betray our trust. And so you have two options at that point. You can either choose to believe, oh, I'm worthless, or why does this happen to me? And this would be more of a victim mentality, courage and below. Or you can say, wow, okay, I guess I need to be more discerning from now on. That's an empowered choice. So I want to really help you see that it's really not about the things that happen to you. It's the lens in which you allow yourself to see life. So a lot of the people that I see have experienced certain diseases, certain illnesses, where, they'll go into the doctor's office and the doctor sees them and says, oh, you have borderline, you have pre-hypertension, or you have borderline diabetes. You need to go and start a nutrition and exercise plan. Well, what does that mean? A lot of people leave that office not wanting to say, well, what does that mean? Because they're intimidated by the doctor, or they don't want to sound silly. And that's how this continues. Maybe a proactive person might go online and try to Google, healthy eating and activity plan. But for the most part, people don't know what to do. This is what I've seen over and over again. So I'm saying that it's really great to be proactive, because it allows you to feel in control of your health, instead of being reactive and coming back 6 months later to the doctor's office and saying, oh, I tried to do something for a week and it didn't work, so now let's go on medication. A proactive approach involves being involved with your complete care, knowing your medications, knowing your numbers and what they're supposed to be, and being proactive to seek out help if you need it. And that's okay. We don't learn these things in school, and that's totally fine to ask for help. So I had a couple clients who had this distinct shift from disempowered to empowered. I had a woman who had diabetes come to me, and she actually started really, she was crying, she was upset. I can't believe this is happening to me. And, she felt like she didn't have any control. She felt disempowered. But through our coaching and me helping her to realize that, okay, this is the reality and this is what's happening right now, but we can be proactive and help you to move through it and change your attitude about it and feel confident that you can, in fact, change your health. There are certain things that we can't modify. Obviously, our DNA, we can't change our age, but we can modify our nutrition efforts, our activity, the way that we see life, and our stress levels. That's huge. And we'll go into that a little bit later. So that's just a quick example of a story that I had with a client where she, we worked together and she had a lot of these emotions. She had a lot of anger and guilt and shame around having this disease, but we helped her to feel more empowered and more in control of her health. So, okay, what are some tools that you can use to support your body in the healing process? For optimal healing, again, we're going to do a holistic approach: mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. So, mindfulness is huge. If you are a person suffering with a chronic illness, anybody can benefit from mindfulness or meditation. Anything that really allows you to connect with your breath and stay in the present moment. This is great for any kind of anxiety conditions, any type of fear-based thoughts that you might have. Even if you're going into a stressful situation and you really can't avoid it, it's good to take a few deep breaths and really focus on your breathing and be in the present moment. That's huge. And there's been a lot of studies and a lot of data on meditation and benefits of yoga, mindfulness, that you can even practice mindful eating. All of these things are going to help slow down the process of being too reactive or having panic attacks or feeling like you can't move forward with something. So mindfulness is very important. Prayer. There was a study done, an analysis of 40 studies on people with advanced cancer that said that people who reported spiritual well-being were better able to cope with their illnesses and find meaningful experience. In research done specifically on women with breast cancer, spirituality and prayer have been associated with less depression and a more positive sense of well-being. So prayer, believing in something higher than yourself, and really giving your trust to that being, whatever that is, if you believe in God, the universe, knowing that you have a certain amount of control, but that, you also trust in a higher being is huge. And it's been studied that, women with breast cancer are better able to cope with their disease because of that connection. So having some kind of support group, whether it's through church or at, a library, whatever that support is very big as well. Having a positive attitude and laughing. Make sure that you're also, if you have a chronic illness, I forget the statistic, I think it was a decent percentage of people with chronic conditions, so chronic pain, autoimmune diseases, cancer, tend towards depression. And so in order to really lift your spirit, all of these things are really helpful. Prayer, affirmations, laughter, having a positive attitude, being with people who lift you up, that is huge. And so whether that's family or friends or maybe someone in your church community, make sure that you're really nourishing yourself and you're building yourself up to feel empowered. Of course, exercise is always good. It really gets, your body moving. It oxygenates your cells. And it's a great way to clear your mind as well. And then, of course, nutrition. I mean, like I said before, a lot of these conditions can be helped through nutrition, through eating nutrient-dense foods. And for people with cancer, a lot of what is involved is reoxygenating the blood and the body through more alkaline foods. So anything that's green leafy vegetables, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cabbage, different fruits like berries, dark grapes, and seeds, garlic, ginger, turmeric. A lot of those spices are also have a protective effect and are anti-inflammatory. So all of these things combined is a recipe for success. So no matter what disease you have, whether it's cancer or diabetes or some type of, even a mental health issue can be really, augmented and act as a complementary therapy for any of those conditions to improve your mood, improve your energy, and help you feel better. So each person is going to be different. Each person's journey is unique. And so whatever resonated with you from this talk, ask yourself today, okay, what can I implement into my life this week? What's a small change that I can make? Drink more water, maybe add lemon to my water. Make a couple small changes and you'll see the results. You'll see the improvement in your energy and how you feel about yourself. And that is a big part of healing. It's not only feeling better physically, but also feeling like you are healing in a complete way to be at your best. So I hope that you enjoyed this presentation, and I will talk to you soon.